Collective, hey, what is going on? Welcome into the channel. So happy to be here with you always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to look at the energy for the upcoming week via the tarot astrology, any channeled messages that come through, along with some Ayurvedic or holistic wellness practices, ideas, modes of operation that I will include into the reading that can really just help optimize our mind, body, soul functioning. So we are, in fact, attracting our success and our abundance always. So with that, let's get into it. I hope that you are doing well this evening. Just going to double check. Yes, okay, we have audio. All is up and running. All is well. We are finishing out Cancer season. The last few days of Cancer season will be the beginning of the week. We're going to move into Leo on the 22nd. And then Mercury is actually going to go direct on the 23rd. So that will be nice. Things will start to pick up. The pace will start to pick up again. And as we shift from Cancer into Leo season, it helps us shift the focus away from the things that are maybe kind of triggering us or bringing up some emotion, some kind of feeling in our life, and really take that knowledge, that information, and funnel it into ways that we can actually honor and support ourselves. Leo season is all about being front and center in our own life and definitely taking initiative to put self first. It can be a little bit counterintuitive to what is happening in the astrology because there are some aspects where we definitely have to look at self. We have to look at self. We have to be aware of how we are contributing or showing up in some of these dynamics, especially because Saturn is going to be going into retrograde on the 26th. And Saturn is about working on self. It's all about karma, overcoming limitations that we have in our own life. The way this previous new moon in Cancer this last week was aspected was specifically focusing on things that we need to change in self in order to really kind of align and acclimate with that energy of empowerment that Leo season brings. And so, yes, there is the need to see what people, dynamic situations are feeding into those things. We have to have awareness. We have to have understanding. But there also is that component of responsibility, which I know is the least fun thing. And it does kind of backtrack to some of the lessons that we've been learning with the Mars energy, the way that we're putting plans into action, making sure that we're not just pushing force with brute force, because it's not really going to get us the results that we want. If anything, there is this element of surrender that's being called for right now. Surrender to the flow, surrender to timing, being a little bit more in tune with the slower side of life. And I think this is reflected a lot because of all the retrogrades we have going on. Neptune and Pluto are also in retrograde. And the outer planets really deal with our spiritual evolution or how we are growing, building on from that karma that we might have accrued from this lifetime or previous lifetimes. And the nice thing is with moving out of Cancer season, it's not going to make everything feel so big and so emotional. Yes, there might be certain things, frustrations, annoyances, shortcomings that we're coming into. I feel like we're going to see some of that this week. The transits in the astrology, they're not horrible, but they're just frustrating and annoying. I'm seeing a lot of conflictive energies. We'll get into that a little bit more as we dive deeper into the reading. I love to start my readings off with an energy cleansing just to set the tone, set the vibe for the reading. Cleanse out those places we might feel blocked or limited. It is something that you can totally skip ahead. If this is not your vibe, you'll definitely receive the blessing and the good energies always. but you don't have to necessarily. I put all the chapters down below just as a heads up. It's also a really good time to set your own intention, especially if you do have something on your heart and mind that you would like Spirit to deliver messages to you around. Definitely give that over. Be open to receive. It really is a great way to personalize these collective readings. And also on these lives, feel free to drop comments below. Feel free to interact, exchange, if you have any questions, want me to explain an energy that much more or dive a little bit deeper into something, definitely throw it out there. I love the interaction engagement, and it always helps the channel as well. I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing and wellness services, and readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, or if you are interested in more of a rebalancing of self, alignment of your mind, your body, your soul, I do pranic energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. Because when we are aligned in self, when we're taking care of self, that's where we can tune in to our wants and needs that much better. And that's also where we're tapping into our happiness, our fulfillment, our abundance. I would totally love to help support that for you in whatever way possible. Definitely hit me up. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. I'm currently working on my website. Hopefully that will be up and running within the next month or so. But until then, just shoot me an email. All right, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being so it may see and understand the messages clearly and help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama Love. All right. So I feel like there's this energy of like, I'm picking up that like some things are coming back up for you that maybe haven't been, like you're aware of. I don't think this is anything new under the sun, but I think things that probably haven't been in your present awareness, maybe it's stuff that's like taken a back seat or things that you haven't really been thinking about lately. And it feels like with the retrograde energy, there are some things that are being highlighted or coming back up again that are making you feel a certain kind of way. And maybe even kind of tying back to ancestors is in our overarching energy this week. So this might even be some generational patterning ties that you have to things that I'm hearing don't really align with you. And I feel like it's almost in this way I'm hearing that it's like challenging other people's patterning in regards to like things that their family has passed down to them generation after generation. And I feel like it looks like there are things that are changing around this, that are challenging you around this, i.e. where that Saturn going into retrograde is going to really highlight certain things that aren't really serving us or places that we do need to make changes within self. Being a little bit more flexible, being willing to make changes and adjustments, even if it doesn't really feel that comfortable. Because this is stuff that is no longer aligning with you anymore. But it's stuff that like maybe I don't know if it feels like it's that big of an issue or that big of a deal, or maybe you think it doesn't even need to really be looked at type thing. But I feel like some of the stuff that's happening this week is definitely going to be highlighting places where changes need to happen. The flying fish come out, and the flying fish definitely tags back to this level of wish fulfillment. those things that seem impossible, those things that seem like, you know, we could never have or never achieve. But maybe you can, right? Maybe you can. Life is pretty magical. And oftentimes when we align ourselves with the right energies in the right way, it does allow those manifestations to happen. And this might just be things that are getting in your way. Messages, again, things that it's beliefs. It's things that have been passed down that, like I said, it might be comfortable, but it's not comfortable anymore. Or it's pushing you out of your comfort zone. Especially if you are trying to tap into certain manifestations, bringing in a certain amount of success or whatever you are going after. Okay, so that flying fish definitely wanted to come out. I feel like that's been... that came out a few times for us. We've had a lot of repeat energies as well. A lot of confirmations coming through with spirit. So cutting board, refining, doing some refinement, you know, kind of chipping away at some of the not so good parts. Like I specifically look at this as kind of like cutting off the inedible or the things that are not nourishing, the things that don't actually feed into our energy. So beginning of the week, it feels like you're kind of playing it safe, not good, bad, right, or wrong. I feel like it's that self-protection mode we're getting from the Cancer energy, those places that things are feeling a little bit sensitive, and so we don't want to put ourselves out there in a vulnerable way. And we're seeing that a lot with the moon tensely aspected to Mercury. There's a lot of tension on the surface level beginning of the week between the moon and the sun alike. So that's our ego and our emotions. And that's why it's easier to play it safe, to maybe not push yourself too hard. Jupiter's also tensely aspected to Pluto. And Jupiter is in Leo right now. So it's very much like I shouldn't have to be doing the changes. Like they should be doing the changes. And maybe, you know, but we also, again, it's that caveat of we need to know when to put in the work, when it is our responsibility to take hold of the reins. And again, it's not always an easy dance, but there's something in the beginning of the week that you're just feeling a little bit on the defensive around. 9 of Wands. I feel like it's kind of better to stay safe, to stay comfortable, because I'm hearing some of this is about you processing through what you think and feel around these things. Instead of throwing yourself into the fire, it looks like you're honoring your heart a little bit more. And yes, maybe some of that is not good, right? Because this, to me, the 8 of Swords is when we get in our own way, when we get in our head, when we overthink, or we think worst case scenario, and then we convince ourselves that that's actually true. When in reality, it's not. It's just this space of comfort that is available to you right now. And again, because there are certain things that might not be confirming or validating the work that you are doing, like you're not getting certain things that are paying off, it feels like you have expectations that are not being met, you know, and whether they're not being met by those in your environment, and so it's putting you into this position where you're fearing the worst. But it's not true. It's a lot of things that, like I said, have been passed down, false beliefs, belief that something can't work out for you or that something can't be good. Because it does look like something is in your environment that feels fanciful, but in a positive way. We have 10 of Cups, 10 of Wands. There's something that, like, I think it can go both ways, or it has gone both ways. It's something that's brought a lot of happiness, a lot of success, a lot of privilege, but then at the same time, it carries its own weight and responsibility with it. And that's where I see you not really wanting to, or walking cautiously beginning of the week. Keeping to yourself. You don't want more damage to be done, especially with Venus tensely aspected to Mars and Mercury tensely aspected to Saturn. People are having a hard time understanding or getting on board in certain areas, and you're tired of convincing. All right, this is a really interesting energy. There's some digression as well. So we'll see exactly what this is, but we get 7 of Swords. We go from the 8 of Swords to 7 of Swords. So that's where we're seeing a little bit of digression beginning of the week. And I'm not 100% surprised because, I don't know, it looks like someone does have some information to share with you, but they're a little bit reserved about this. They don't really know how much you know, is what I'm seeing, the Sun. But I feel like it is something that actually will help bring clarity to a situation. And it's also a good thing. Even if someone does kind of have ulterior motives around this, like there might be a reason why they're withholding information. It's like they're withholding information just to bring it to you. And maybe using it as like a power move. Again, I don't pick up a manipulative energy in the way that it's like harmful or something you need to be worried about. I feel like this is more something around, this is like someone who's trying to get back into your good graces or wants to bring something to light, wants to expose something, is also having a hard time within self. And maybe even like taking ownership of their own role in this dynamic. But, it's interesting because they are watching, they are lingering around. We have the Death card and the Emperor, so Aries. There's been certain changes that has happened for this individual that I feel like it's actually helping them come forward. But again, they're carrying their own set of guilt and shame or feeling responsible for something, and maybe rightfully so, because this feels like an energy where they probably should have told you beforehand and they didn't. And maybe that's exactly why you're on the defensive, because you don't really know what the motivation is around this. And there might, like, everyone's kind of in this vibe of keeping it safe, keeping it comfortable, trying not to rock the boat. And there isn't loads of tension in the beginning of the week. It's just aggravation. It's aggravation at what isn't moving according to your own expectations or own ideas. And I think this is a lot of, like, again, whatever has come before. And not just from your family or, whatever, your ancestors. But this is also the way that maybe this dynamic has showed up for you before. It's not just the response based on your patterning, but it's also how this person dynamic chose to handle things. Because again, we have this 7 of Swords energy, which is a sneaky energy. It is about trying to get away with something or not fully divulging, not being completely transparent. Not that we have to be, but this is an energy of like, okay, because you're in the 8 of Swords. So I feel like this is an energy that could actually free you. Had this been communicated before, prior to, but it hasn't been, and it hasn't been out of someone's selfishness. Yeah, but it's stressful for them. So, I mean, I guess that's a benefit. Like, it looks like the stress is forcing them to make a decision around this. That's where that 7 of Swords is coming into play. But I also see that this is something that you have freed yourself from. This makes a lot of sense. Like I said, we're in our last few days of Mercury retrograde. And Saturn is going into retrograde. We have a lot of retrogrades this week, or just for the rest of the year. Those outer planets are going to be staying in retrograde for quite some time. So it is an opportunity to move a little bit slower. And that's exactly what this Queen of Pentacles looks like she's doing. Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn energy, or someone who's just being more methodical with their approach, with how they choose to engage with you. Communication is a little bit rocky though. And I think that that's kind of where this moon card is coming into play, because I feel like things need to be said. There's a conversation that's like dying to happen or waiting to happen or needs to come to the surface. If it doesn't happen this week, it's going to eventually happen, is how it looks. And this also feels like something that, again, this person's situation has been avoiding. And maybe it's just something that they've been able to get away with for a period of time. Just like, you know, I was talking about first channeled message in the very beginning, that idea of just like not really acknowledging or dealing with something, but it looks like it's coming to the surface again. And I do like this flying fish energy midweek. The tension is definitely lessening, which is a good thing. We're having more positivity between the sun, moon, and Mercury, where there was a lot of tension before. So there's hope, is what I'm hearing. There's hope for things to be more positive. The sun is in Leo, the moon is in Scorpio, Mercury is in Cancer, and that's exactly when it stations direct, midweek. And so it's this value of like really kind of throwing things out there in a way that might not be super practical, i.e. the flying fish, but also is something that is desired and wanted and could be if components align accordingly. Knight of Swords, making plan of action. So it does feel like something is making a plan of action towards you. It looks like there's been some difficulty without your energy, without your presence around. And it looks like someone is trying to rewrite that a little bit. Or you might even have a few people that are coming up. There's that Two of Swords, double confirmation on that. Needing to make a decision. And this also feels like this might not be something that's planned. If this is like this, the same situation that you're dealing with this Queen of Pentacles energy, it almost feels like a happenstance. Like you run into someone or something just kind of manifests out of the blue, or, you know, someone just off of a whim, they shoot you a text message, etc., that kind of thing. It doesn't feel like it's planned. It feels like maybe someone or something is thinking to do this in the background. But like I said, it becomes like a knee-jerk reaction or something that they just do on a whim to see where things land. What are they talking about? There's our Queen of Pentacles taking that action towards you. Double confirmation on that. Queen of Pentacles. Ooh. The King of Swords, interesting. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And the Strength card. With the High Priestess. Then why is it coming up for collective this week? Why is it coming up for collective? Three of Wands. It looks like you have like the Wheel of Fortune. I was going to say, it looks like you do have some options on the table, or there are more options that are coming your way. And while there is this energy lingering around you, I feel like they are kind of taking a back seat to some capacity to see where you're at, to see kind of where things land. You might get a message, but then this is also showing that other opportunities are coming your way. Like things that you might not be anticipating, expecting, or like I was saying, like you're not even looking for, but they just kind of manifest out of the woodwork. It does seem to put something on the back burner, or it looks like if this Queen of Pentacles continues to wait, which there's a lot of challenge around this. because again, I don't think someone is ready to come forward, and it does look like someone's trying to encourage them to do that, or maybe not pressuring them, but like there's something that someone wants someone to do with, like, it feels like someone has to come and right their wrong with you is what I'm hearing. And it feels like someone's really like needing them to do that for whatever reason, whether it's just to clear the air, clear some karma, maybe there's some difficulty, but it's also kind of showing that this is not an easy energy to iron out. Like whatever's going on there, I think there's these opportunities. What I'm hearing is there's these opportunities for someone to actually approach you or interact, engage with you, and they're just not doing it. Or when the opportunities present themselves, they're kind of shying away, i.e. where that protective energy is coming into play. And then meanwhile, there's other things, because you keep moving in a different direction. Like you keep moving in a direction that feels, maybe it's not 100% what you want, but it's things that you have to choose and do for yourself, if that makes sense, right? Like it's the thing that you're choosing to do for yourself because of how everything else is playing out. Yeah, the Tower. That makes a lot of sense. Like you're doing what you need to do because it's almost like these are your only options. And though something doesn't see it as that, again, they have their own stuff to contend with, whatever this is. There's double confirmation on that Knight of Swords. But it's like, this is basically talking about how you had to make decisions because someone was sitting on something for too long. Someone's having a really hard time admitting something. And this feels like this might even be things that you already kind of know. Even if you don't have complete evidence confirmation 100%, this is stuff that you're already very aware of. And maybe on some level, like these other people, whoever they are to you, Queen of Pentacles, King of Swords, maybe they have like an idea, or again, it feels like someone's trying to encourage someone else to like right their wrong with you, but it's just not happening. Or the way that you're showing up, you're intimidating someone. Like it feels like this energy of like they can kind of talk a big game, or I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna make this, and then when it actually comes down to it, they just like can't do it. And not that this directly inhibits you, maybe a little bit with this Three of Wands. It definitely leaves limitation with certain opportunities, but I don't necessarily see you being upset about that. I see you being really practical. The Knight of Swords is just like, okay, well, this is not happening, and so now I need to make some different choices. And it looks like that's exactly where midweek is taking you. And I think also because you're seeing where some of the tension is highlighted in the astrology, that Jupiter tensely aspected to Pluto. If people are not self-aware, they're not going to change, right? They're not going to do the necessary work to like right their wrong or make a situation better. And that's what it looks like you're struggling with. Like someone definitely wants to, but they can't follow through. And meanwhile, you're just like, okay, that is what it is. Like, I'm not going to run and chase someone around. If anything, it feels like you're really trying to balance out from whatever this Tower, 10 of Pentacles is. This is a breakdown of a structure of some sort. It could be, home, finances, your foundation, your stability. It can be family, fights, arguments, people taking sides, things that kind of disrupt your foundational sense of protection, safety, worth. And again, maybe this isn't something that you should have to do, but you're making a choice to do it because it is uprooting these patterns, whatever they are for you. And I don't think it's easy, but I do think it's something that you're doing. And I do think it's something that you're doing in a way that feels like it is weeding out a lot of stuff that doesn't serve you anymore. i.e. where this cutting board is coming into play. And I think is also really nice energy to close off the week because yes, there is some tension end of the week, but it does kind of settle down a little bit more. I don't know. I mean, 10 of Wands, Queen of Swords, the 4 of Cups. It's really how we're approaching certain things. Because I feel like, again, the things that are popping up for us, the things that come up on the day-to-day and end up triggering us, it's shedding light on things that like we have to make peace with within self. Hey, so good to see you. It's good to see you. Oh, no worries. Aw, thanks, girl. I appreciate you. It's so good to see you. Thanks so much for all the love and support. I hope you're doing well. Thank you. I'm sending all the love back your way. I'm so glad to see you. Thanks for the shout out always, and never any worries. I always love seeing a friendly face. So end of the week, that's where we are doing more of this refining process. And I think it's because of the way things are coming up for you. 6 of Wands, we're getting double confirmation. And I really like the 6 of Wands going into Leo season. Sometimes the 6 of Wands can be a little arrogant, a little self-serving of an energy. But I feel like in this, for instance, or at least whatever this situation is that's popping up for you, I feel like it is deserved to some capacity. And you might even have people trying to like bring you down a notch or two, or even like behind your back. Maybe they're saying certain things, or there's a certain amount of gossip floating around about you. And that's where, I don't know, it doesn't really look like you might be paying attention to it, or this might be stuff that you can't necessarily avoid, but you can avoid it because it is helping some healing, growth, evolution on your part. And this is helping align you as well. Even if we're not seeing a lot come in this week, we have our full moon the following week. It will wrap up the month of July. But it is about like how we're growing, how we're progressing, how we are refining and building. And I love the way the 7 of Wands is shown on this card. 7 of Wands is all about change in perspective. It is a little bit of like doing the dance, right? Like jumping through hoops. But I feel like that's appropriate right now because this is about building your strength, right? It's about building your strength, your capacity. And that's where I feel like some of these old energies or energies that remind you of these patterns of the things that are no longer serving you, as they're popping up, it is really helping you solidify, strengthen, become a more empowered version of yourself so that you can navigate things a little more fluidly. And there's a reason that Spirit is kind of encouraging this element of determination, rising above even the things that feel like they're unfair. It's that remembering that like, I love this. It's helping you realign with what is authentically meant for you. And I feel like some of this stuff, this past stuff that's coming up, resurfacing, it's helping you to see how it wasn't in alignment with you. Or in a way that it's like giving you an opportunity to let go on a deeper level is what I'm hearing. 9 of Cups popped out again for us, which is the card of wish fulfillment. And it feels like some of these other energies left you on the defensive, put you in a position that like, I think that whatever this like negativity or like this heaviness that surrounds it or whatever someone can't acknowledge, it's nothing to do with you, you know? And I feel like that's maybe where you've internalized some of the responsibility, like taking on the responsibility of someone else's stuff. When yes, rejection is never fun. It's never fun. But at the same time, it is that value. Rejection is redirection. Or if someone is gossiping about you behind your back or can't be honest with you to your face, is it really something that you want to be involved in? And I know relationships, they all have, their dance, and sometimes we're in long-term relationships and it's hard to be honest and all that stuff, right? You have to give it the proper context, of course. But it's also, again, it's highlighting places where, like, I'm hearing this is also fair weather friends or situations, dynamics that, like, really weren't meant to last long anyway. Because the flying fish can only sustain for so long out of water before it needs to dive back in, right? And I'm hearing that in the way of, like, things that were actually nurturing you, the value of what does nurture you and what does not. And if something can seem really awesome, super magical, super cool on the surface, but it's not giving you that life force energy, it's not actually filling you up, filling your bucket, like my son likes to say, then is it worth it? Is it worth it at the end of the day? And what it looks like is you have other options that are coming up that feel better situated for you, or the door is opening to other things that I'm hearing, like, the path hasn't been linear to whatever capacity. The path hasn't been linear, and so it feels a little bit personal right now. But I don't think it necessarily is. I think that space is opening up in a way that you can really shed and unlearn some of these patterns. Some of these patterns that, like, don't vibe with you anymore, aren't necessary, aren't needed. Places that, yes, maybe it's kept you safe and comfortable for a period of time, but that comfortability is changing. And we do have to get out of our comfort zone in order to see what magic is around us, what is available for us. And I think that you're getting tastes of that. Like, I feel like you're having these little experiences along the way that are validating, that are reassuring. It's just not the whole pie quite yet. And that's where this net feels a little, it's in our blocked energy this week. So it's hard to kind of catch those 9 of Cups experiences that you're looking for, because you're getting a lot of, like, this other chaos, this other stuff that, like, I don't know, maybe there is value in the lessons that you're learning, but maybe it doesn't feel that way so much. I've also learned in my own experience that shedding these patterns, it's very important, it's very necessary, but it often looks way different than what we think about going into it. Oftentimes we can name the issues that are, like, in our family or what got passed down to us, etc. But actually releasing it, actually unlearning it and letting go and not operating out of those, baseline instincts can be really difficult. Even if we don't like them, even if we don't like how we end up showing up for self. And it looks like there are some things that, like, you're wanting to bring in for yourself. And I'm hearing some of the pattern or some of the things that are popping up is helping you readjust. It's helping you realign. There are good things that are popping in that feel like magic, but it's also helping you kind of take a different perspective, take a different vantage point to what your experience has been to date. And then how you do need to adjust some of those things within self. Leo season is such a great time to invest in self and not be afraid to put yourself front and center for what you are trying to grow and build. Yes, I love this. Embodied knowing. It's like being the energy you wish to see in your life, right? Embody that. Embody. And I think this is even kind of like those deeper layers, right? Like I was talking about, it's easy to kind of know what the patterns are, know what the deficits are, but then actually making sure that we're not doing that, functioning out of that. It takes practice. It takes time. It takes intention. And it looks like, I think that some of the stuff that's coming up for you this week is really challenging you to not go down a certain road anymore, but to actually continue to remain and stand strong in your power, to believe in self, to believe in what you do bring to the table and not to be afraid of it. Intentional legacy. Like, I think that you're stepping into power in a new way, in a more intentional way, a more aware way. That's what I want to say, right? Like, I feel like some of the stuff that you've been through that's brought you to this place in time, some of it has been big. Some of it has been very monumental. It has shifted your perspective on the world. And in a way that I think is kind of difficult, in a way that does remove some of the comfort, some of the safety, some of the security. The world is a wild, wild place, and that can be both good and bad. But also, I was hearing before I started the reading, it's like where we're putting our energy, right? We can put our energy into the comforts and then never really truly feel satisfied or fulfilled. Or we can choose to like make plans of action and actually encourage, empower ourselves to rise above, to overcome even some of these things that feel really monumental, or that feel unfair, or that feel like we're losing a huge portion of our safety net. I can say that I've been in a fair amount of situations throughout my life where the bottom has fallen out from under me. And it can be very scary, it can be very, very scary. But there's always a way to move forward. There's always a way. There is endless possibility, endless creation. It is available to all of us at any time. But we need to plug into that energy, meaning we can't sit there and be afraid that we're going to get screwed over, because that's just going to be confirmed to us through the universe. And I don't see you like having that disposition. Maybe some of this does feel really overwhelming or defeating. Some of the patterns that you are trying to release and break away from, the patterns from your family, from, the way that you've been brought up, raised, the messages that have been sent. And this is a huge collective shift in general. I think this is a lot about Pluto moving into Aquarius. We're seeing a lot of deconstruction of patterns all across the board, pick whatever topic. I can tell you, for example, love your true self. That's so hard to do, but that's a lot of what this Pluto moving into Aquarius is all about. Aquarian energy is very unique. It marches to the beat of its own drum. It's very inventive, and it's connecting with those parts of ourselves that might not resonate for everyone in this world, but it doesn't really need to. We all have something beautiful, something special to offer this world. And it's up to us whether we want to actually share that gift. And it feels like that's not only something that you're wanting to share, but something that you're wanting to express, something that actually does bring in some level of like happiness and fulfillment into your life. But there's been a lot of things that have gotten in the way that have maybe made you doubt yourself, maybe made you question yourself. Things that like are done and over with, just in terms of you no longer need them. They were a safety, a support once upon a time, but they're not doing the heavy lifting anymore. And if anything, the heavy lifting that they are doing is causing more problems and issues that it looks like you're directly trying to move away from and kind of plug into an energy that is more life honoring. And you're willing to do it, right? That's where this refinement is coming into play. You're willing to do it. You're cutting away those things that are draining your life or that are no longer necessary, that actually aren't adding any type of value. If anything, they're distracting from that value. And yeah, you might be putting your energy out there in a hopeful way, in a way that, you're trying to land certain options, opportunities, etc. It does look like it's working in your favor. It might not be everything that you put energy towards, but it definitely looks like at the end of whatever this is for you, you have more to pick from than whatever's trying to keep you trapped and limited, or whatever can't give to you right now, whatever can't be honest, whatever can't be upfront and, whatever that Knight of Swords, I don't know where they went, Knight of Swords, Queen of Pentacles energy is. You're evolving beyond that into this really abundant energy that's very self-sufficient, self-sustaining. You know, it kind of has that, like, you have everything up and running, and yes, there is some type of maintenance that you have to do, but you don't have to be so on top of everything because of the way that you're refining, and what you are specifically cutting out. So I hope this helps this week. Godspeed as we move through this retrograde season. I know it does bring up a lot of lessons, and that can be a little bit challenging. It can be a little bit bittersweet. But it's also the value of these types of readings because it really helps us see into places that we might not be paying attention to, or that we might just kind of brush off and hope they go away, and then they just end up coming back up, rearing their beautiful faces for us to look at. So thank you so much for your time, energy, always. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope you found messages that resonated for you here. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I always love to hear or just connect, share, and a little love, a little TLC. I so appreciate all the love, all the support to the channel. Know that it blesses my heart, and I am sending love and blessings back your way. Have a fabulous week. I will be live again on Thursday, and I will be uploading videos throughout the week. It might be a little bit sporadic depending. I have a kind of a busy week up in front of me, but I'll definitely try to get a chunk of those videos up for you guys. All right. Thanks so much for your time and energy.